Happy Friday, everyone. John Connelly, president of the Twin Cities North Chamber of Commerce. And this is Chamber Check-In, your local source for networking, virtual solutions, and lots of content. Hey, special shout out to CTV North Suburbs for producing Chamber Check-In today. We have three guests that we want to bring on now. Our first guest is going to be Sarah Soley from the National Sports Center. Sarah, welcome to Chamber Check-In. Hey, tell us briefly about the National Sports Center for those who don't know about it.
So as you know, the National Sports Center has been around for nearly 30 years. We're a local nonprofit, but also we're the world's largest amateur sports facility. So we have sports from hockey to golf to soccer, lacrosse. I mean, pretty much anything can be played on our campus.
Great. And right now, golf is still being played, even though I saw the snowflakes flying here. We've got a couple of weeks to go. For those that don't play golf, Victory Links is a great course to play in the fall. I just wanted to emphasize that, full disclaimer. So tell us how the National Sports Center, you've had, amateur sports has been impacted a lot by all that's been going on here the last 6 months. Tell us how you have adapted here and your organization's adapted.
Yeah, so obviously with COVID, we were unable to play for several months, but we've been working with the Department of Health and have established really safe guidelines to bring sports back to play. We did have the opportunity to have golf open most of the summer, which was fantastic. People were able to enjoy the greens and be socially distanced, so that was fantastic. The rink is back open. We actually have a tournament this weekend. People are wearing masks indoors. We are limiting the number of spectators within the facilities and obviously have upped our sanitizing game. Additionally, we're getting ready to open our brand new dome. So we're working through the COVID protocols there, but definitely trying to find ways to keep everyone safe.
Gosh, lots going on. Yeah, this is kind of that transition period where we're going from outdoor field events into your, like you said, your domed events, into away from golf, into ice sports. So tell us, what tactics and strategies have you seen how they're dealing with everything moving forward? We know what the pro sports have been doing, but I'm really curious about what amateur sports has been doing during this whole time and what they're doing here coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the big thing is to communicate effectively to your teams coming in, making sure that they understand what the expectations are. They need to do those health checks before they come on campus. Their teams need to not gather prior to coming in the facility. They're going to come in basically 15 minutes before game time or practice. So especially in hockey, having that quick turnaround to get ready. Yeah. And then teaching parents, like, you may not be able to watch practices right now, but that's okay. We're going to keep them safe inside. And then for games, just really working with them to wear their masks when indoors, making sure that they don't have too many spectators within the facility. So trying to over communicate to make sure that everyone's safe.
Yeah, that's a good policy. I know that, whenever I'm going around some of these venues, that it's very clearly marked what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. So that's great stuff. Hey, where do you see everything in another year, Sarah? It looks like golf is trending up. It looks like, you're going to be able to do quite a bit of soccer just because it is a social distance sport, some of these things. And hockey, they seem to be managing that. Where do you see things going down the road here in the next year?
I think none of us truly know, but as you mentioned, golf, I think will continue to grow. A lot of people have found that re-love of the game, if you will, or have introduced it to new friends and family, which is fantastic. We hope that we can continue to have other activities come on campus. People are looking for those outlets to stay healthy, to stay active, and we want to be here for them. So we hope we can continue to keep everything in control and safe and be a place for people to gather.
Yeah, and I think it's so important for youth as well as adults, to go out and play, because during this time period, you can't forget to take care of your body. Tell us your last thoughts. We got about 30 seconds here in Chamber Check-In, Sarah. Tell us your last thoughts about what you'd like to share with the audience about the National Sports Center.
Yeah, if you haven't been to the National Sports Center lately, you should come back. It's changed a lot. The campus has grown. We've added a brand new dome, the largest in North America, opening the beginning of November. So we'll be able to house even more softball and soccer. We have a lot of great facilities, so you should check us out.
Awesome. Hey, Sarah, thanks so much for joining us in Chamber Check. And hey, we go from a whole field and ice sports thing to next an indoor sport. We've got Tess Bunker from Triple Shift, which has one of its properties is the Mermaid in Mounds View. Tess, welcome to Chamber Check, and tell us about what's going on up in the Mermaid in Mounds View.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, John. So I'll talk about all of the fun that we've been having here at Mermaid. Even though we had to close briefly in the spring due to the pandemic, the fun didn't stop. So what we did is we actually invested about $400,000 in renovations. So at the Mermaid, we have a bowling center, we have a bar and restaurant with an arcade, gaming activities, we have a hotel with just about 70 rooms, and then we also have two pretty large ballrooms. So we took that opportunity to invest in those spaces that had been pretty much untouched since I think the 70s, maybe 80s. So those are completely different. So come check them out. We'd love to show everyone around.
Awesome. And so, with these adaptations coming on, your venue's been known as like for birthday parties, for, all these gatherings. How do these work now under the current environment, Tess?
Mm-hmm. With venues like Mermaid, it's pretty interesting just because we have such a multifunction space. So our ballrooms count as ballrooms and event spaces. So that has a 50% capacity or up to 250, which is what we're following with the state guidelines. And then on our bowling and entertainment side, that has a 25% capacity. So it's not really as simple as how many people can we get in per lane. There's a lot of these different factors that we take into account with all of the spaces underneath the same roof. So lots of stuff that we keep track of to make sure everybody is safe when they come and join us, whether that's staying in the hotel, planning a wedding, or visiting us for bowling or a birthday party.
That's right. You're really well known as a wedding destination in the local community. Tell us how those things are going. Because personal experience. My daughter was supposed to get married in June, had to delay all these things, and we finally got it done in August. So so tell us how you've adapted to those things.
Yeah, so a lot of our brides and grooms did end up either rescheduling or canceling if we weren't able to accommodate. But since September, we've been hosting weddings pretty much every weekend, actually. The social market with weddings, those groups are more excited to keep engaging with each other. People are craving that human interaction and looking for reasons to celebrate safely.
Yeah, and that's what I've been reading about is that socially people are gathering in these smaller groups, under the guidelines. It's some of the business things that are slower to come online, and that's one of those industry trends. So speaking of industry trends, what tactics and strategies are bowling centers and hotels and some of the restaurants tackling these days, that you've seen that you can share?
Yeah, so on the hospitality entertainment side of the business, everyone is trying to pivot as best we can, whether that's embracing technology to engage the guests who are still staying at home, letting them know we're still here and we're ready to have some fun with them safely as soon as they're ready to do that too. So we're working on rolling out more streamlined online booking systems. So just with a couple of clicks or a quick phone call, you can plan your next visit with us and just keeping them engaged that way. To keep them joining us. Another thing that we did is we're trying to enhance those experiences that we do have on site for when they're ready to join us again. So another thing we just added at the Mermaid is axe throwing, actually. So we have 4 lanes and we're doing a Facebook naming contest for anyone who wants to jump over to our Facebook page and give us some name ideas. We're welcoming those right now too.
No, okay. I'm gonna get into the axe throwing here. Let's take 30 seconds and tell the public about axe throwing. All right, I love that.
Yeah, well, it's very similar to bowling. It's just, taking it to the kind of extreme level. You have a lane or you have an alley that your group reserves, and then one by one you go up, and instead of throwing a bowling ball, you're throwing an axe at a wooden target. So we have coaches that go over the safety. We do the safety training, and it's a fun way to, have that same kind of experience as a group, just for the older kids.
See, those are the type of stories I love to share, is being super creative. Like, before Sarah talked about them having the largest indoor sports dome now so that they can program that for 6 months. And now you doing axe throwing and trying some of these new things. I'm always a great believer in, the entrepreneurial spirit of small businesses and businesses to be able to adapt to environments. And speaking of, we have about, 35, 40 seconds left in your segment. What would you like to share with the audience, Tess, about Triple Shift and the Mermaid in particular?
Yeah, with the Mermaid in particular, we're still welcoming our guests right now. We're open every day. We've got our leagues coming in every day. Come on in, feel free to walk in, give us a call and make a reservation. For those smaller groups like weddings, even small to mid-sized parties in the social markets, we're doing bat mitzvahs, we're doing quinceañeras, so keep us in mind. And for those larger groups like the companies and schools, as soon as you're ready to join us, we're excited to get you back inside too. So keep us in mind, come visit, see our upgraded ballrooms, and give us a call. We'd love to see you.
Fantastic, Tess. Hey, thanks for joining us on Chamber Check-In. All right, everyone. Hey, we lost our third guest, who was Terry Spots of Cartatai in Roseville. We would love to have had him join. We'll get him back on another one. He is the latest addition to the restaurant scene here in Roseville. A nice spicy Thai meal is always appreciated. I love that kind of food. Hey, everyone. We want to thank Sarah Soley from the National Sports Center, Tess Bunker from Triple Shift and the Mermaid for joining us here at Chamber Check-In. And just remember, everyone, CTV North Suburbs produces Chamber Check-In, and we appreciate them doing this. A shout out to them. Once again, Chamber Check-In every Friday. Join us again next Friday when we have a new guest lineup. And our vision here at the Twin Cities North Chamber of Commerce is to promote business, develop leaders, and connect communities. And we're so glad you joined us today. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.